What is small, round, green, and goes up and down? A pisum savitum in the invention of the man I'm gonna talk about in this video. Born in 1811 in Halifax, Vermont, Elisha Graves Otis is an American industrialist whose name went down in history because he eased our vertical movings. He grows up in a farm, so the destiny of Elisha seems to be written. He will be a farmer, just like Daddy. But the last of the Otis children shows no interest for the land, and he spends most of his free time with the local blacksmiths. At the age of 19, he leaves his family and tries his fate in New York. He's making a living doing unstable jobs, in building trade and as a warehouseman. But these jobs are very exhausting for a young man with a poor health. Otis then works in a doll factory, where he mechanizes the production process to improve the productivity. Elisha saves some money, which allows him to get back to Vermont in 1835 and to buy a small piece of land. From that moment, a series of bankruptcies knocks the young man out. Turning gravel into sand? It doesn't work. Running a sawmill? Another failure. Manufacturing wagons and carts? Try again. Open a small business, maybe. The place is flooded in 1851. Otis finally gives up, and he is hired by Mays and Burns, a beds factory in Yonkers, in 1852. The production site has several floors, linked by dangerous elevators. The ropes break easily when they are overloaded, and it causes death. Otis' boss asked him to work on this safety issue because Elisha had already studied this kind of problem some years ago. Otis makes a break with a spring and ratchets, and he succeeds in blocking the elevator in case of cable break. Elisha Otis is the inventor of the elevator safety brake. Well, it's a little long, but Otis did not invent the elevator. This technology dates from the Greco-Roman period. Technically, you take a pulley and here you go. In fact, the inventor of the elevator is Archimedes. But Elisha Otis has improved the safety of the device, and he's more easily associated with lifts than the Greek Georgelus. Let's get back to our story. In 1853, Elisha shows his invention during the World Fair of New York with a spectacular dramatization. In the middle of the Crystal Palace, he gets 10 meters above the ground on a wooden platform held by a rope which is cut with an axe by a sidekick. The crowd immediately imagine him as a pancake, but to its surprise, the board hardly goes down before being blocked by the safety brake and appears to be hanging in the air like magic. After this efficient advertising, orders quickly increase, mainly for factories, and fortune smiles on Otis at last. In 1857, a New Yorker department store gets the first public lift to ease the circulation of its customers from one floor to another. And by 1860, 500 public elevators are in operation in the United States. The first private lift is built in 1871, and in 1885, the first skyscraper comes out of the ground. Well, I guess that 500 steam elevators that go up and down at a breathtaking speed of 1.2 meters by minute don't impress you much. But the device created by Otis literally changed the city's landscape. Before Elisha turns the hazardous lifts into safer ones, most buildings were less than 7 floors high to preserve the calves of their users. But from the second half of the 19th century, thanks to Otis, to the progress of architecture and of the construction techniques, and also because of demographic growth, the sky becomes the limit. Picture yourself New York with small buildings. Well, that's Washington. Another example. Who wants to climb the 1,665 steps of the Eiffel Towers? The ones who do the vertical race are not allowed to play, as they do that in 7 minutes 50, and it annoys everybody. Otis dies of diphtheria in 1861, and his 2 sons, Charles and Norton, turn the Otis Elevator Company into an international company that enters the stock market in 1898 and which is still leader on the lifts market. But is the lift as safe as Otis wants us to believe? In the USA, elevator accidents kill about 30 people a year, which is pretty little, compared to the 1,600 persons who die in a stair mishap. And most of the time, victims of a lift fatality fall into the shaft without noticing that the elevator is not there and that the doors open by mistake. So before getting into an elevator, make sure that there is an elevator.